The story begins when I gave birth to my daughter, Riley, weeks earlier than expected, and was forced to face the cold reality of the NICU. Riley was too small to rest in her mother's arms, and I entered motherhood in a fragile, disoriented state, clinging to each breath she took through machines. In that weakest moment, I sent a short message to the family group, hoping for a simple check-in or some emotional presence. The only response came from Aunt Brenda, cheerful vacation photos completely disconnected from the reality I was living. In the days that followed, I lived almost entirely inside the hospital. A full month passed with no visits, no private calls, not a single message asking how Riley was doing. I made excuses for my family, telling myself they were afraid of the NICU, that they thought I needed quiet. But the longer it went on, the clearer it became that this silence was not accidental. It was a systematic absence. The people who stayed were Nurse Sarah and other strangers, people who shared no blood with me, yet showed up with a steady presence. When Riley began showing her first real signs of improvement, I allowed myself to hope. And at that exact moment, my phone lit up with 84 missed calls, most of them from my brother Mark. My father, Richard, had suffered a stroke, and the family was in chaos at another hospital. For the first time in a month, they remembered me, not because I needed support, but because they needed me. The call with Mark became the central confrontation. I heard the familiar line that the family needed me, that our mother was falling apart, while every person who had been absent from the NICU was now gathered around my father. I reminded him of the 31 days I had spent in the hospital, the prayer message that went unanswered, and for the first time in my life, I said I would not leave Riley. I was not angry. I was simply too exhausted to keep carrying everything. After that decision, I chose silence and stepped out of the role I had always played. I stopped financially supporting Mark and Liz, without explanations or arguments. The family responded with blame and belated gestures. When Grandpa Henry called to say he had revised his will and left everything to Riley, I understood that my silence had not broken the family. It had only exposed cracks that had existed for a long time. In the end, my husband Evan and I chose to leave and build a different future for Riley. While the family argued over money, no one asked how my child was doing. Riley grew stronger, and as she healed, the weight inside me eased. Family did not disappear. It was simply placed where it belonged. And the story ends with a quiet realization that love is not proven when people need you most, but by who stays when you are at your weakest.